Hey everybody, Johnny5 Alive here. Welcome back to another Let's Play Yeti Land episode. This is episode 5. In the last episode, we finished building our female Mama Yeti. Now we have the Mama and Papa Yetis. So if you haven't seen those episodes, go check them out. And in this episode, we are going to be making our baby Yeti army. So stay tuned and let's check it out. Alright, if you guys do like this video and this series, please be sure to smash that like button. If you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe. We have plenty of fun Planet Coaster videos on this channel. And as always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I respond to all comments, and I always love reading your guys' crazy comments. So, let's get into it. Here we go. So, right here, I'm really trying to use the smallest shapes first to determine how big our Yeti is going to be, because I need to be able to make some sort of face details, and the smallest sizes of the shapes are really going to determine how small our Yeti could possibly be. We don't want them to be too big. As you can see off to the side here, I have the little animatronics as sort of a size reference, so we can kind of compare what our Yetis are going to look like next to these animatronics. And yeah, so just really playing around with some of the shapes. How big do I want their feet to be? I kind of want them to have little mini legs, little mini feet, big upper torsos, to sort of resemble the big Papa there. And, you know, we're not going to be able to get nearly as much detail into our baby Yetis as we did with the Mom and Pop, but I think what we end up coming up with in the end works out pretty good. It's a lot of little tweaking and adjusting and just getting things to work. But when we start going into details and accessories, things just start getting really fun. Now, there's a lot of cool things that I'm getting ideas as I'm going through this, and it becomes quite hilarious. And this is going to be quite a chaotic winter festival sort of theme, but I think it'll be fun at the end of the day. It'll definitely be unique. So here I'm just trying to figure out what size mouth am I going to put on these guys. And do I want them to have kind of like an upset face or a happy face? And we do a little mixture of both, because we don't want all the Yetis to be chaotic. And here I'm trying to figure out what can I use for eyeballs. I use the little smoking pipe, because that's the smallest sort of spherical shape that I could find. And that actually worked out pretty good. And with those little eyebrows, he somewhat resembles his Pop. Now, we don't really have anything that we can use for a nose. I mean, I could use the pipe again, but because these are a simplified version of the big Mom and Pop, I think it's fine to sort of have less. It's like saying less is more. So it's good to just, you know, have the main features and let the fun accessories do the rest of the work. So at this point, I'm pretty happy, and I just want to play around with things. I thought maybe I could put a mustache on him, and I'm trying to see if I can add any fur. I'm looking through the winter pieces to see, hey, is there any fur I can add? Icicles, trying to see if that works. And there's really not a lot of options based on the size of our Yeti. If we were to make our Yeti bigger, I thought it was kind of fun just adding that guy over there shooting at the Yeti. So Yetis are by nature destructive. So, I mean, this theme, it sort of makes sense. I mean, yeah, most people are making these happy, cozy, gingerbread, fairy tale village type theme parks, and I'm definitely going off the path by doing something chaotic and almost warlike, because we're going to have Yetis, we're going to have destroyed villages, we're going to have broken gingerbread men, and you know, I have to kind of point to Planet Coaster here and say, if you open up the first Winterland level that you get with the game, there's clearly a gingerbread man that's been run over by a car and a bunch of people screaming off to the side. So, I mean, even the developers have a little bit of chaos in their deep down inside somewhere, and they put it into their own level. So I'm just taking mine to the extreme, and here I'm trying to get my colors to just be a little bit off-white, a little bit cool, and I'm trying to figure out what works. I don't want it to be pure white. And now we're just duplicating and playing around with accessories. So I'm gonna jump back and forth between kind of the talk between what we're going to be doing with this project and what I'm doing, because there is just a lot of just duplicating, adding things, tweaking with things, playing around with items, seeing what looks cute, seeing what's neat, and seeing what we can come up with. This one here, I thought it kind of reminded me of like a Ninja Turtle or something. And our Yeti face kind of also reminds me of like a Cartman from South Park, so that's kind of funny. And yeah, just playing around with the different accessories and then seeing, you know, how we can make these all look very cute and unique. So yeah, going back to what I was talking about, is there's going to be a little bit of chaos, but then there's also going to be a little bit of friendliness. Now, like I said, Yetis are naturally chaotic and dangerous, so their enemy, I would have to say, is more or less just the snowmen and gingerbread men. So if there is any violence in this, it's not really hurting anybody at the end of the day. It's just giant furry creatures breaking piles of snow and cookies. So it's not that violent when you really think about it. It's more fun and playful than anything. And we have the opportunity to create poses and basically have them still animated. And the only way, like, there's not too many ways to animate characters like without there being chaos. At least there's no really fun ways of animating characters without a little bit of chaos. So for example, like, you could have little Yetis building things or putting things together, but if you look at it on the extreme factor where I'm taking it, you can have Yetis swinging hammers and, you know, knocking over snowmen and looting presents and swinging candy canes, and just all this hilarious stuff. But we don't want it to be a one-sided battle. So here I'm trying to figure out what this cowboy can have for guns, and I do later on find out that there's a revolver, and I think we go with that. So I was using little trumpets, and I was trying to see if this pipe would work, but it was way too small. And later on, I end up going off camera and putting down almost all the assets in the game, seeing what I can use for sort of like weapons, I guess. I don't know if that's a good term for it or not, but it is what it is, I guess. So yeah, it's going to be a fun little series, and everything's going to be come to life and animated, but we don't want it to be just pure Yetis wrecking havoc. There's an ecosystem among the Yetis. They want to live too, and they need to eat and have fun and play, and it just so happens there's a lot of gingerbread men around and they're getting in their way. So it's just kind of like a war of attrition kind of thing, and you know, each other is living in each other's land, and they don't get along. So we're gonna have the snowmen kind of teamed up with the gingerbread men to give it somewhat of a fair fight. And we're gonna end up having to make, I mean, at least the plan is right now, we're gonna end up having to make and that, by the way, that one with the bow and the lollipop, I thought that thing was adorable, and it's by far my favorite one. It's almost like a two-handed weapon. It's just hilarious. So yeah, we're gonna end up having to make a snowman army and a gingerbread army, and that way it's numbers against mass. There's big scary Yetis, but then there's tons and tons of snowmen and gingerbread men. And you know, it's only going to be a small little town over here that kind of got wrecked, but they, you know, embarked in the wrong territory, so to speak. So on the other side of the map, we're going to have our humans and our sci-fi and our fully built, gorgeous little gingerbread land, and none of that's going to be really tampered with. It's all going to be safe behind secure walls. I think we're going to go with some sci-fi fortress walls or something like that. And I think that's going to kind of sell it as like a half and half. We're like, we got the Christmas theme, we got a little bit of and this I cut to a whole new part of the video. I ended up making bigger guys, like the big brothers. And the reason I cut that part out was just pretty much just a duplication process. And I didn't really like the bigger ones because they were pretty much just wearing the same accessories as these guys. So I wanted to change it. And I felt like, well, we can't have all little baby boys. So I used some of the things that we did to the female mama. And here I'm just trying to make a little bit of a chest, but I thought that didn't look right. Something looked really wrong about it, so I just deleted that. Less is more, and we got the little rosy cheeks, the pink eyeliner, the bow, and we kind of changed the angry look to more of like a a scared look. And I think I even flipped the mouth upside down to make her a little bit more happy. So we're gonna have jolly Yetis doing their thing, living their life, and then we're gonna have some more of like the violent teenagers, the babies, you know, and the big poppies, just kind of crazy. I mean, it's what we deal with in every ordinary. And here, that gun, if you've ever looked at this gun, I suggest you go look at this in game. That thing is atrocious. I don't know what's wrong with the model. I don't know how it passed QA, the art QA team. There's so many polygons and broken things about that gun. It was just horrendous. I think I even saw a post on it saying, is this supposed to be in the game? So I just thought that was interesting. I was looking at it for a little bit there going, oh my god, how did this get into the game? But nonetheless, it is a revolver and it worked perfect for the cowboy. And here I'm completely struggling with for some reason you can't add, I wasn't able to add them into the group. And I ended up finding it out. There's these two little building pieces at the back that I just deleted. Then it allowed me to do it. So I don't know what was going on there. It was treating it like two separate buildings. So I have all these things that I put down off camera on the side just for accessories, trying to see what can I do to make them look cute, what can I do to make them look crazy, what can I do to make them look fun and joyful. And I thought this was kind of cute, so I put that on her. She's just catching some rays. So yeah, there's going to be some playful and some chaos, and it's just like little kids, you know, like boys like to smash things and girls like to play dress up, and we're going to have a little bit of both in these little playful young Yetis. So, you know, the young Yeti boys like to break snowmen and gingerbread cookies, and I mean, we're not hurting anyone. Don't judge me. I mean, it is what it is. But some of these guys, you know, they like to dress up like, what's his name? Conan the Barbarian or whatever. So we give them little play toys and stuff. So we're just using what Planet Coaster gave us to have some fun. And I think it's awesome. They got a lot of character. This really just made my day here. I was like, oh, the eyeballs fit perfectly. So we got our chaotic bone barbarian. He's really a scary one, so probably going to use him as some sort of bodyguard for the Yeti cave. And I thought these are kind of cute, so we added them to the side of the cowboy. So now our cowboy actually has cowboy boots, revolvers, a face mask, and a cowboy hat. So just making these little guys come to life as much as possible. So as you're watching this, you could probably be coming up with your own ideas, so feel free to post them down in the comments below. If you have any neat suggestions for dressing up these Yetis a little bit, feel free to mention them. So I do want to get some base guys down, and then we're going to pose them. And I would do a little bit of the posing near the end of this episode. I thought this was just cute, so I did it. I don't even know what it is. I just thought it was really neat. So made her feel a little bit more adorable. So yeah, we're gonna do some poses, like some, you know, basically the Yetis, they needed a food source, so they raided Candyland, and so they're gonna be sitting down eating some cookies. As in some of the poses, they'll be munching on chocolate bars and cookies and lollipops, and you know, just munching on candy and having a feast. And it'll be fun. And this guy, I didn't like his little canes, so I gave him cannons, and I thought that was a lot crazier. I'm just looking at the different things that I can put in, and yeah, it's just a chaotic little Toy Story Christmas here. I mean, Toy Story had violence. This is a war of the toys. It tells a story. It's life, right? There's always little battles going on, and there's always a yin and a yang in life, and we're going to try and incorporate that. It's not going to be completely dark. We're going to have the Yetis munching out, having a feast, doing cute little Yeti things, having a good old time, and we're going to have a little bit of chaos over in the corner. And then we're going to have the Happy Human Village. We're going to have everything. This I thought was cool. I wanted to make a Yeti mech just for the sake of it. If we're going to mix in a little bit of sci-fi, I thought this would be neat. And also those legs kind of looked like skis. So I thought, why not make him like skiing? And I don't know, put some lights on him, a big cannon on his back, because why not? Give him a a big giant, what do you call that, propeller thruster, so he can go super fast, ski super fast. So they're having a good old Christmas too. They're playing with their toys, but you know, nobody thinks about Yetis on Christmas, so they got to fend for themselves, and there just so happens to be a whole lot of presents and gingerbread nearby, so they gotta fend for themselves here. Give them little ski poles. So they're just playing with their toys too, and it's a lot of fun. I think it's cool. Yeah, so this thing's gonna turn out to be quite crazy in the end, and now that I've got a lot of basic costume baby Yetis, I want to start playing around with animating them. And I have them off, like, this is basically like a row of blueprints for us, and we're just making all these different blueprints. And once we got like a whole bunch of different stuff, and we got snowmen and gingerbread men, we could start just like putting them around the map, and they're battling each other, they're playing with each other, they're doing different things, and we're just gonna have to make dozens of different poses and then see what we do with it all in the end. So with this one, I had the idea of tilting him over so he's like carrying a stack of presents. And so we need to have Yeti looters. They're bringing home presents to the mama cave so they can open them up and have a good old time, have a good old Christmas. So I thought it would be cool to make a little wagon full of presents, because it's a little bit more efficient to bring it in a wagon. So the Yetis are improvising. They're smart, and yeah, I wanted to have a Yeti dragging this wagon back to the cave. So I was thinking about the cave a bit more, and I think I'm going to have some paths leading up to the cave and some paths going up into the cave, and we'll have almost like a shrine or some sort of sanctuary in the cave where they're all sitting around a fire or sitting around something. I have a really good idea for what they'll be sitting around, but I don't really want to spoil it. We're going to have to wait and see, because I'm still thinking about it, and it's a pretty cool idea. So yeah, we're going to have them all kind of like taking presents back to the cave, and I thought I'd do some paths, and it'll just be like a bunch of rows of kind of like looters bringing back presents, and inside the cave we'll have a stack of presents and Christmas decorations, cookies. They're just like their stash of goodies that they've collected from the Christmas season, and yeah, they're all just sitting around munching and opening up presents and playing dress up. So you know, it's all about the Yetis in this one. So I wanted to have some kind of ropes so he can pull this wagon back, and I thought it'd be fitting to use Christmas lights. They're resourceful, they're smart little Yetis, so they're trying to use what they can to bring things back. I also think it'd be cool to have some construction. That's why you see all this wood and stuff back in the back here. I was looking at it and thinking, well, maybe the Yetis could be kind of building their own land as well. We'll see. I mean, this is pretty ambitious as is. And then I had the idea here to make a sled and maybe have like another Yeti pulling him. And it's like, he's like, I mean, that's what kids do. They pull each other around in wagons. These Yetis are just destructive little boys. That's what they are. And, you know, we're just having fun. So, but as I was doing this, I thought of a brilliant idea here. So you'll see it come together into something else, and it's not quite the wagon anymore. It's pretty hilarious. So I like what it turns into. Yeah, what else did I want to talk about for this map? I mean, if you guys have any ideas that you think are crazy and fun, feel to drop them down in the comments below. I mean, I'm gonna have to do some fun little animations and poses, I should say, and everything in the end will look almost like someone went in and paused it. And it's all for the entertainment of the guests. I mean, we're doing this to build a park at the end of the day, and this is all really for the guests. So the guests aren't getting hurt; they're just having fun, looking at this craziness, and it should be pretty cool. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sapped in terms of creativity. I think I've thought of a lot of things for this map. We're going to definitely have different areas of the map that feel different from one another, and we have different running themes. We'll have the clean gingerbread town, the sci-fi, maybe a fantasy. We have our Yeti feeling cave, and there's going to be all like made out of wood and different things. And then we have our destroyed little, you know, sort of gingerbread pillaged village, and the little war between the snowmen and the Yetis. So yeah, I turned him into a Santa riding a sleigh, and I thought that was kind of cute, and I needed to add some accessories to these guys. Then I thought, well, it's not a sleigh unless it has presents, so I was trying to see what would work here. I thought maybe a carriage on the back would work, but I was thinking more like a bag of presents, but that didn't really look right to me. So I just decided to go with a stack of presents. I mean, now that I think of it, maybe the other one would have worked better. If I could color the top as red, it would look like a red bag with some presents busting out the back. I might have to go back and look at that and play around with it, but I think this turns out pretty good. And he's riding his little sleigh. He's got his reindeer gingerbread men pulling him along, and he looks like a little Santa. So they're making friends with the gingerbread as well. I guess you could call it that. So yeah, this is a fun little episode. I thought, like animating them and giving them different poses. And here I just slow it all down, and we get a look at the whole army and all of our creations. And in the next episode, we're gonna start animating them a bit more, giving them different poses, and just kind of getting our base Yeti blueprint down. And I think start bringing some of them to life and just have them ready to place around the map. So if you guys have any ideas or suggestions for these little Yetis, feel free to throw them out now before we finish with them. And we're gonna have to build some snowmen and gingerbread men and stuff like that, and some little houses. So that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think of this craziness down in the comments below. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next episode.